Mhm. We all know football. We all think we know football. You ever talk to those guys online that watch the 22 films? They got the websites. They think they know it all, but they never played the game. This is Bird's Eye View. Welcome to the shit show. Welcome everybody back to another and new episode on the Crack Bell Production channel. This is Bird's Eye View. I am Moss Money. I am the player. And we got the guy that we were talking about earlier, the guy who knows it all, the guy who watches film, my GM, player versus GM. That's Ernie B. What's up, bro?
Just a little sneak dissing. It's all right. We'll take it. We'll take it.
Well, you know how we do.
I'll get you back throughout the show. I don't worry.
I don't think so.
I get you back.
I don't think so.
It'll be all right. It'll be.
You're about to get cooked in the AFC South top rankings. You're about to. So all that talk, all that film study, all those websites ain't gonna help you today, because we are doing AFC South top 4 players versus the GM. What else did I say? I said player versus the GM, the owner versus the franchise. Kind of mixed it up at all. This is what we're talking about. Let's start off with our first team of the day. Best team, maybe in the whole conference. Tennessee. I'm sorry, not Tennessee. The Houston Texans. Woo.
Tennessee Titans. Whoa.
Tennessee Titans, right?
Hot
Titans are better than I thought they are.
Look there now. Nate's about to drop a bomb. No.
Tennessee's better than I thought when I looked at this roster.
No, they are. They are.
We'll get to them fairly quickly. If you don't know, the show was on the Money Pot channel. We moved over here to Crack Bell, so we'll be doing a long list of series of all the teams throughout the NFL in our top 4 rankings. You will see more of those as I post more of those older videos as we keep going here. But let's start with the Texans, man. I think both of us would agree number 1's pretty easy. CJ is obviously the most important player to this team and to this franchise moving forward. I don't think there's any question about that. And even though you give me slack about the big fellas up front, I'm going to hit you with my number 2 because you got nothing to say. Give me Tunsil.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Give me Tunsil at number 2. So it looks like the player and the GM are on the same boat here. Tunsil's been one of the best left tackles in the league for quite some time here. Getting a little bit older, but still a mainstay.
Still his prime. 30 years old.
Still in his prime. He's getting there though. Is he 30 yet?
He's dealt with some stuff over the years, but he's solid, man. Tunsil's about as good as it gets.
Is he getting to 30? I think he's getting to 30, but the big fellas up front, they're still good in the early 30s.
Yeah, they're heavily invested. The team, they stand by of Nick Caserio, the GM. Big fan. I'm a fan of Tunsil. They got 2 veteran foundations there. After I guess I'm going to say my number 3 here. I'm going to go with Danielle Hunter because I still think he's heavily in his prime at age 30. I think that they invested in him heavily to be that guy. And I think aside from Will Anderson, who I'm just going to go ahead and put a slash here. I'll get better at that on camera, but I'm going to put a forward slash here. We're going to put Will Anderson next to him because this duo of pass rushers is one of the best tandems in the NFL. I'm a big Will Anderson fan. Super Saban guy. He is just Will Anderson's an all-out stud. And Danielle Hunter at 30 years old also, he's in his prime. Tunsil and him might be both at playing year 31. They might be age 31 by the end of the season. That's fine. That's still in their prime. They've got this could be a big year for Houston.
And your typical GM talk. I went with Will Anderson, man. You got to go with the captain of the defense as a rookie, D'Amico Ryans.
I love Will. I love Will, but like I said, I'm going to list the veteran first. I'm going to give him his respect. He did get bagged up. So.
I'm a defensive lineman. I got a love for my lineman, but I got to go with the future, right? Because I'm thinking that second year is going to be Anderson's going to explode on the scene. I don't know if he's in this caliber. He's probably not in this caliber of talent from Donald was, I think, a guy who exploded his second year.
We GMs
We
don't. Front office is not going to look at Donald as a edge player. They'd identify Anderson as a true edge. Even though you're right, he does sometimes line up in various formations.
I'm talking about the track. We can see some of these top tier talented defensive linemen really make that jump into the second year. Is where
he has a chance to be a. He has the chance to be a. I don't want to say TJ Watt yet, but I mean he could be. He could be a Nick Bosa level pass rusher. You know.
Yeah.
Consistently, he's very, very, very good. He just has to stay healthy.
And I did, and for my fourth, I did the slash. I couldn't decide between Stingley and Nico because they both had career years last year, and I need to see it again. So Hunter's not actually on my list.
Neither is Mr. Diggs.
No, neither is Diggs. I'm been a big my guy Diggs, man. I've been a big Diggs fan.
I ask you that because I know that you love Stephon Diggs.
I do. I really do. But I didn't put him on here because I do agree that he did have a down year last year. And it's that like the way that football has turned, even from a player's point of view, it really is coming like year to year with these guys.
Very much so.
Like it used to be like, you know, you would give them a long leash. They could have a bad year. But if they have a bad year, you know, that's kind of tell signs that, you know, the decline is coming. So I think Diggs is probably like that. He's been kind of falling off the last maybe 2 years, I would say, even though the numbers are still ridiculous. But we'll see what he does in this offense. I mean, where does Nico play? So was Nico was an outside guy, or did they bunch them all? I mean, Tank was really the
inside guy. Offensive coordinators moving guys around.
Yeah, I felt like they moved a lot.
I mean, he's a bigger guy. He's a bigger body, more of an outside guy. I don't think Nico can't line up in the slot. I don't have any numbers on that, but I would say I'm going to have Diggs here because I think in order to build a championship caliber football team, and not a team that necessarily is, I guess championship's a bad word to use. They're not a Super Bowl contender, but they're a sneaky contender, if you know what I mean. Because if you look at the way, I think they are sneaky because if you look at the way that they've built this roster, the age of Tunsil, Hunter, Diggs, and remember, Caserio inherited Tunsil. So then you got guys like Derek Stingley, very young, CJ Stroud, very young. Another kind of at the end of his thing, but could still be good. Joe Mixon, they added him. You know, they still have Dameon Pierce, but he had some bad rushing numbers. I just think this team is built super solid, man. But I think the addition of Stephon Diggs was big for Stroud because, you know, Tank Dell's a little bit smaller. I don't think he's going to finish a bunch of seasons in his career all the way through, if you know what I mean. I mean, he's a little guy, and I think that we're going to get an 18-game season eventually. They're already talking about it. So it's going to be tough. I think they have a really good wide receiver room, though. They still got Bobby Trees, Robert Woods. I like this team. I think they're hands down the best team in the division.
Yeah, I don't agree with you that they're sneaky Super Bowl team.
Well, the AFC is just you have Kansas City, and you got to get through that. So, and then you have I don't think you could have a second-year quarterback even with this roster and say that they're a Super Bowl contender just yet. They have a lot to prove.
Yeah, I'm not with you on that one. I like them as a Super Bowl. I think they have a Super Bowl roster.
I think they play Buffalo. I think they play a team like Buffalo week 1 and they lose if they were to line up with a team like that. The Jets have a much better roster on paper if we're just talking, you know.
You think the Jets have a yeah, the Jets are stacked though.
Yeah.
The Jets are ridiculous.
They're stacked, man. It's just Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh might be the worst combination of head coach GM ever.
Trying to think because last year they lost to Baltimore at Baltimore.
You got Lamar to go through. I mean, the AFC is a absolute, like, dude, it's a arms race. Like, they're in it. That's why I'm saying they're a sneaky contender. They're in it, but I mean, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Kansas City, I mean, Buffalo, New York, the Jets,
Yeah,
Miami.
I would put them maybe third. Damn, and we just did Cleveland too. Cleveland's roster is
Cleveland's stacked too, man.
so
That's what I'm
Cleveland's
saying.
ridiculous.
Do you see how I'm viewing this roster? Like they have a lot of good things going, but they need a lot of things to go right as well.
I was about to say, yeah, they need a lot of good things to go right. I mean, they just gotta hope the AFC North just beats each other up like they typically do, and they got nothing left. Because I mean, Houston's a runaway with this division, so
they should be.
Yeah, they should be. All right, I like it. I like it. I like it. All right, let us move on to the next. I have the Colts down as my next team to look at. It'd be interesting what your number one is here. I'll let you talk to the people. Mr. GM, who is the most important player on the Indianapolis Colts?
AR-15, baby. That's some. Can I cuss?
Can you cuss? Can he cuss? He can cuss.
That's a motherfucking dog. Okay. That's a man amongst boys. Like that motherfucker is bad. All right. Let me get serious.
So?
Anthony Richardson has all the tools. He's just got to stay healthy. And these questions of will he run, should he run, get the F out of here. I don't want to hear it. Move along. You didn't ask Cam to stop running. I don't think anybody's asking Jalen to stop running. They want him to run more. I mean, this is come on. It was a I believe it was a grade 3 AC joint separation. Nah, man. I mean, that's a tough surgery to come back from. I mean, and I don't think that really has anything to do with running. Like that's a pretty. I don't know if people know about that injury, but that's a little bit of a freakish. Not freakish, but it's a specific impact injury.
Right.
So you got to fall. Basically, you got to fall on your shoulder funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I mean,
I don't think it was more of a freak injury. I would put it under a freak injury as opposed to just this comes from running the football.
He was being stupid the way he was running too. But like most of them do, they don't know how to get out of bounds.
What are you going? What are you going to tell him, man?
But I don't know about this one, man. I don't know, man. You really like him that much? I mean, I'm not mad at you because he was their fourth pick, so it's like, you know, they're toast if he's not.
Well, they got Joe Flacco, so they're not toast.
I like Joe. You know, I like Joe.
6'4", 244, Nate.
So
moving like that.
Oh man, that don't mean nothing.
At some point, man, but at some point, you saw what he was capable of.
I saw little glimpses, but bro, at the end of the day, like I said, I'm the player. I'm looking at it like this. Like you got to be able to win from the pocket. Got to. These run. I love me a running quarterback, but just the recipe don't win.
He has probably the best play caller for his abilities in the NFL.
And Steichen?
Shane Steichen is the best RPO. Look what he did with Jalen, man.
Yeah, but Jalen had a squad around him too.
Jalen special. He's got good team. There's a good team here.
All right, yeah, let's go. So I don't have him on my list at all.
Jesus Almighty,
bro, he's 4 games last year. Like I have no idea what he is.
I think that their future. I'm talking about my future as you know. If I'm this GM, if I'm Chris Ballard, like this kid, he's got to work. He's got to be.
Yeah. So what's from? I don't know if you started scouting already, but who are the top prospects coming out of college?
For quarterback
wise.
All right. Keep this short. When you have a really, really loaded class, the next class is not going to be as loaded.
Yeah, for sure.
There's not a Caleb this class, if you want me to put it like that.
Yeah, so we got Shedeur.
You got Shedeur. You got
the Ewers from Texas, right?
Yep, Quinn Ewers. You could throw in
from Duke. I thought there was a kid from Duke that was really good, like low key good.
Nah, Malik Murphy has to play one more year. He's got to play. Yeah, he transferred because Arch Manning.
Yeah.
You got there's like Garrett Nussmeier, who's the son of the Eagles quarterback coach, Doug Nussmeier. He's LSU's quarterback. He's getting some love early. The Texas A&M kid that I can't remember his name. Utah's got a kid.
Oh, you know who else? How can we forget about
Milroe?
No. Cat from Penn State.
Alar?
Yeah.
He misses too many throws. It's not it's more like, you remember the Kenny Pickett class and Malik Willis and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that.
But he's the prototypic size though. Like
yeah, a lot of these there's a lot of white dudes with size in this class that are like semi-mobile, that don't have the best arms, like it's not a I don't know. For early stuff that I'm reading and hearing is not the greatest. So
yeah, no,
I agree. Hell of an edge rusher draft.
Yeah, I haven't really done college. I'm just thinking about the top guys off the top of my head real quick. I know we're missing one or two.
Tennessee.
I'm pretty sure it was a guy from Duke, but I just don't know where he went.
Oh, Riley Leonard.
Yeah.
Riley Leonard's at Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking about. I was like, I knew there was a guy from Duke that did.
Yeah, I know. Out. Yeah, no, Riley's not. He's not going to be he could. I mean, he could. I don't know. It's not.
I think he might be. He's going to be a top 5 quarterback off the board, right?
Yeah, but in Kenny Pickett's class, I don't even know what round that was.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like I said, last year was loaded. Like Williams, super potential dog. Daniels, potential dog. You know what I mean? Like,
well, the only reason why I brought up
potential dog.
The only reason why I brought up the college thing was my thought is that if Richardson doesn't pan out, then I'm pretty sure the Colts are going to have a top 10 pick coming up
this year.
Yeah.
No. No, they're the roster's too feisty. Quentin Nelson's still a top 3 interior offensive lineman in the league, if not the best guard in all of football.
They're 500 at best, bro. At best.
That makes the playoffs sometimes. I mean, 9-8. We can't have 500, so 8-9, 9-8.
I mean, they got to see Houston twice. They see Houston, Green Bay, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, and Tennessee, and Miami, and then Houston. The bye week is into week 14. I mean, they might not win a game into Minnesota, and that's week 9.
I have them probably. I'm gonna go. I don't know, man. I think they.
I'm telling you, man. Like, I'm looking at this joint right now. Like, they really might. Like, if you look at their schedule, they got Houston, Green Bay. I think Chicago's better than them. Pittsburgh could be because it's at home in Indy.
Was it you? Hold on. Was it you or Brent that loved A.D. Mitchell? One of y'all liked him.
Might have been Brent. Might have been.
Because remember, he's the kid out of Texas that they got. Yeah. Got his jersey number because of all the guys that were picked ahead of him or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I guess
I like Indy.
Who's your number 2?
Quentin Nelson.
Okay. All right. We're there. We're there on the same. Even though he's starting to fall off a little bit, I still think Quentin is the centerpiece and the heart and soul of this team. So I agree. All right. Who you got? No, actually, I don't know about that. Who you got number 3? Buckner? DeForest?
Yeah.
You got to give DeForest love, man. Come on now. Come on, GM.
No, I love DeForest Buckner. I'm just trying to make sure that I didn't miss somebody. Yeah, no, I mean that's who I'd probably go. I go Buckner.
Yeah. You giving LaSalle some love? Oh, you're not LaSalle boy. I just put a LaSalle boy on there because he went to LaSalle, Zaire Franklin, even though he's a freak.
Oh yeah, shout out Zaire Franklin. He's good. I think he was the 100th player on the NFL Top 100 this year.
LaSalle, stand up.
LaSalle, hey man, Franklin's a dog.
There he is. And we went to LaSalle. Of course he's a dog.
I mean, they got, dude, I'm telling you, they're not a bad football team.
They're okay. The defense is good. I think the defense is underrated.
See, I think the offense is better than the defense.
Do you?
Yeah. I do.
I can't.
I think Pittman, Mitchell, Downs, Pierce. I think that's a good top 4. I like Jelani Woods out of Virginia. They got Kylan Granson, Mo Alley Cox, a couple other tight ends.
Yeah, I mean they're all I know, and their offensive line
is one of the best running backs in football. I mean,
he's my number 1. I had JTT number 1.
JTTD.
Yes.
Damn.
I did. He was my most. Without him, I don't know how this offense goes because they can't.
Without him, we have former Eagle Trey Sermon getting the rock.
No,
according to our lads, I don't keep up with the Colts beat very much, so I don't.
I feel like Trey Sermon was already in the Colts at one point, wasn't
he? He was claimed off waivers when we cut him last season, I believe.
I thought he was like on the Colts in the beginning or something.
Niners to Eagles to Colts. He was picked in the third round of the Niners.
Yeah.
Third.
All right. I mean, like I said, we'll see about this team. I'm not a AR.
Well, who's your wait? So, what did you have? You had JT,
Nelson,
Buckner,
and then I just fanboy with
fanboy with Franklin. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go Latu, who was the best.
Love him.
He was the most talented pass rusher. He was the best pure pass rusher in this class. He was the first defensive player picked off the board. Yep. I think Latu has a chance to be a real stud in the league. And him, Buckner, if Kwity Paye ever catches some ground, I like that group. I really like EJ Speed and Zaire Franklin. Juju Sprintz is a ton of talent on the outside. Nick Crossfield and Blackman's a good safety group.
What do you mean Kwity Paye catching some ground? He's coming on.
He needs to do a little bit more.
He had 8. I'm looking at his numbers. He had 8.5 sacks last year.
Yeah, he's doing good. He's doing good, but he's coming on a little bit slower. He typical Michigan pass rusher. I'm just kidding. Aiden Hutchinson's a stud, but more of a Brandon Graham. You know what I mean? He's taking some time. I love Kwity, man. I'm a big Kwity Paye fan. Like I really love his story. Kwitty's story is awesome, but Latu is a flat out better pass rusher. You know, I mean, he's.
Oh yeah.
He's immediately like day one walking in the building, their most talented pass rusher.
For sure. I agree with that. All right. Interesting on your Colts take here.
I like Indy. Ernie B likes Indy.
Yeah, well, he can keep liking Indy. I'm telling you right now. My eyes are telling me no. You can watch all the tape you want. Telling me no.
I'll mark that check right there.
Yeah, mark that.
I said 7 to 9 wins was my win total.
7 and 9 wins.
I'll go 8 to 10. I'll go 8 to 10.
8 to 10. Hold on. Let's see what the actual official over and under is on them. Hold on.
Probably 7.5. I would assume.
I don't know if it's going to be that high. I think it's more like 6.5. I haven't even looked at these yet. That's the funny thing. Wow, come on, computer.
6.5 as early as July for the 2025. 8.5 wins at BetMGM.
For the Colts? The Colts are really 8.5?
Yeah, man.
Are you serious right now?
On BetMGM?
What are they smoking? Let me see. Hold on. I gotta go to let's go to the DraftKings. Let's compare real quick. Let me see. Come on. There's Houston.
I hate you have to use mobile. It is no fun.
You are not bullshitting. 9 wins? The Colts are not winning 9 games. I'll tell you right now. Bet the under on that thing, baby. Bet the under. Minus 125 right now.
Hey, hashtag hear me out. Ernie B. I'm just saying.
Nah, man. Nah, dog. You gotta leave that one alone, Mr. Owner. Leave it alone. Don't do it to yourself. Do not do it to yourself.
I got one of my prize veterans really shading me right now in the locker room.
Yeah, man. Nah. We going they ain't got enough to win that. Now, you put Joe back there. Maybe.
Dude, I hope. I want an Anthony Richardson. I want a Richardson apology by week 10.
No, not getting it. I'll mark it down. Let me write that down. giving Ernie B shit. Ain't giving him nothing. Not giving him nothing. All right. We are going with the Jacksonville Jags, where Dougie P is more likely on the hot seat. Probably got one more year if they don't make any noise. But Trevor Lawrence got paid. Got paid the bag. Didn't stay up there long. Actually, no. What is he, second? 51, 52 million a year or something silly like that. If I'm not
can't
mistaken.
keep up after Love and Tua. And it's all.
But
he's up there. T-Law is up there.
I think number one is obvious. The most important player to the Jacksonville Jaguars is quarterback and Trevor Lawrence. They're putting all their cards into him, and hopefully they can take him to the promised land. Sucked that they were home. I think it was that 2-3 years ago. I think they faced KC. Tough game. They should have won that game in the playoffs, and they just haven't been able to recover from injuries. And Lawrence is not looking as if he was the guy that they thought he was going to be. But we know this is a quarterback-driven league, and we know that those guys will always get paid the big bucks. I think the number 2 is going to be interesting, and I want to know what you got here at number 2.
Should be obvious.
It should be obvious, maybe.
Josh Allen, now known as Joshua Hines Allen.
Really? Yes. I didn't go that way.
Yes.
I didn't. I went defense, but I went Walker because he was the number 1 pick. He was the number 1 pick, bro.
I know, man, but
regardless, he was you talked to me about Richardson. Your number 1 pick on defense, my guy. He's gotta be something.
He's still young.
He's still very young. I mean, he's coming along.
He's flashed.
He flashed, right?
He
took the big step, in his second year to prove
he's going into year 3 or year 3 now?
Yeah, this is year 3 for him. Yeah, this is year
3. He just needs.
I'll tell you what, this linebacker core is ridiculous. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they're dirty.
They're this linebacker core. The 2 inside linebackers have over 300 tackles between the 2 of them.
Well, Foyesade Oluokun is an absolute stud.
I think he lead the league in tackles last year, I think, right?
I believe, has it been the past 2 years? Foyesade's a stud.
Unreal.
He's a stud.
Yeah.
I've got Joshua Hines Allen. I think Joshua Hines Allen is an elite asset in this league.
Nah, bro.
I mean,
sorry, Mr. GM.
They just paid him. I just bagged him up, so I got to stand on business.
Nah.
And 100%, he's the second best player on the team. I mean,
I agree with that, but he's not the second most important. How is your number 1 pick not the most important player? How do you put somebody over this guy?
It's year 3.
He was the number 1 pick in the
draft. It's year 3. Next year's a contract year. Come on, make something happen. Let's go. Chop. Number 1 overall pick.
Facts.
You only got Ryan Nielsen as your defensive coordinator now. So let's rock and roll.
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, he's got no excuse, man. I mean, develop the player. We'll see what happens. I mean, hey, fun fact. Do you know who the offense coordinator is for the Jaguars? And his how relevant he is to the Eagles?
I do not.
Press Taylor, who is the guy that Doug wanted to make his OC and then was fired because of his, Lori and him went back and forth over the staff, blah, blah, blah. But Press Taylor was Carson Wentz's best friend.
Oh, okay.
I believe he was the QB coach. No, he wasn't QB coach. That was DeFilippo. He was somewhere on the staff. I can't remember if he was on the staff before then. But yeah, Press Taylor has some significance to the downfall of the Doug Peterson era. In Philly. And it's just ironic that he's here now, And then Trevor Lawrence has questions about development.
Ah, interesting. But is this his first? How long has he been in Jacksonville? Ever since Doug's been
Doug got hired. Yeah, they just got Nielsen, I believe, this cycle. I can't remember. He might have been there. I thought he was in Atlanta. could have sworn Nielsen was in Atlanta. But yeah, it's just I just find that kind of funny because Wentz was a awful downfall as a 6'5" white guy with a lot of talent and a lot of take number 2 overall. And then you got Lawrence here, and it's like, well,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was a Wentz fan. I was a Wentz fan, and I was a Wentz backer. Yeah, he just he just went off. He just went off on the rails, and he'll never recover. And then I think some of the news about his attitude and all that stuff. I think some of that stuff came true. His character,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
A lot of that stuff kind of came out and kind of came true, but
Alshon won't lie, baby. He won't lie.
Yeah.
You can say it, but he won't.
Facts.
He won't lie. But I will say this, not to speak on Wentz anymore, but he's the backup for Patrick Mahomes, baby.
Yeah. So he's gonna get a ring. He's trying to get a ring before he.
That's what I'm saying. Reed was like, hey, Howie, check this out. Hey, Howie, check this out.
Yeah. Wentz is trying to get a ring before he steps out of here. But he can make a career being a backup, though. He could make a career.
Man, I'm pretty sure he said he still wants to keep being a backup and just wait for the right opportunity. We'll see.
He could make a career being a backup if he sticks around. Keep getting checks.
Purely off pedigree too. It's purely off pedigree. I cannot imagine.
I mean, at one point he was arguably the best quarterback in the league. At one point,
that year he was.
Yeah, that year
he was hands down. I don't want to hear people tell me Deshaun. Wentz was doing things.
Wentz would have won the MVP if he didn't get hurt, without 100%. A doubt, for 100%. Sure.
But God bless Nick Foles.
Yo, speaking of that, real quick, because we're on an Eagles tangent. Josh Sweat tried to get 9. And they won't let him get it.
Oh, he tried to get 9 was Florida State was 9,
and high school was
9. High school was
9. Yeah, so he changed his number to 19 because they wouldn't give him 9, even though it's not officially retired, but he can't wear it.
Ugliest freaking. No.
Yeah, I don't know what these boys be doing, man. They're stupid. All right, who you got for number? So number 3 was Allen for me. So
you had Allen. So you had Walker and then Allen. Okay, yeah, I'm as much as it hurts me.
You say Cam? Not Cam.
No, it's not Cam. I don't. No offense, Cam Robinson. I've just never really been the biggest fan. I'm going to go with a little slash here. I'm going to go Foyesade / Tyson Campbell, but more Tyson Campbell. He just got paid. He's a good outside corner. I like coming out of Georgia. He's got all the talent. He's young, 24 years old, and getting his second contract. So I think he can really, if he can keep ascending. You know what I mean? It's been a slower ascend, but it's been, if he can just keep ascending, I think that they might have a foundational outside corner there.
Yeah, I did a slash too for my 4th, and I actually just put receiving core. I like that. The whole receiving core.
Brian Thomas was an honorable mention for me. Just I think that the way that the room looks, losing Ridley, Kirk's still a producing player. Ingram obviously out of the tight end is a solid piece. We need to see Etienne stay healthy. He's still young. Gabe Davis is still young, but he had some pretty bad drops and mishaps throughout his career in Buffalo, one of which led to, I believe, the Eagles winning that game last season. But it's I like that. I like that group.
Well, they revamped it, right? So they went from Ridley, Jones, and Kurt, and Ingram was there last year.
Yeah, Ingram's been there.
Yeah, Ingram was there last year, and then upgraded with
Kirk, Davis, and Thomas. That's a good. It's a good group.
With Davis. Yeah, it's a pretty decent group. So with this, is just like at this point when you look at this offense from at least from a skill position standpoint, as long as Brian Thomas Jr. is something of what we hope he is, and not even that Travis Etienne, but don't forget about Tank Bigsby back there.
Ernest Johnson signed there too, so He might be him and Tank might be their primary. I mean, they're definitely preparing more.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So I think his offense has got some punch as long as they can keep. I thought
While we're
Trevor got
talking,
sacked a little bit.
while we're talking Eagles, did you see Darby's an outside corner for them?
Yeah. I am about him.
That's I can't believe still here, man. Still hanging around.
Still starting.
Yeah, I mean he's got some rookies on him that he's competing
Yeah.
with, but
That's who it was. You were in the one. We were talking about Cleveland, and I said I couldn't think of the Eagle with dreads that tore his ACL trying to.
it was Darby.
It was Darby.
Oh,
It
it
was
was
Darby.
Darby.
It was Darby
Oh, I
against
should have
Dallas.
known.
He got hurt against Dallas, but it was a double. I remember seeing it. It was a double move, and his legs just couldn't keep up with Cooper, bro.
I think he broke his leg. I don't even know if it was an ACL. I think he might have broke his leg.
Cooper did some route and it cooked him, and he just
Yeah,
couldn't.
Cooper's when Amari, I think I said this before. When Amari wants to be Amari Cooper, he is one of the best route runners, if not the best in all of football.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, that was I couldn't think of it. It just I was like I know there was a couple in there, but yeah, it was definitely Darby. He got cooked. It was bad. When I look at this roster, I think that this roster is somewhat decent. They'll be able to compete. I think they're a little bit better than probably an average team. They're only going to go as far as Lawrence can take them. I mean, you could say that about a lot of teams, but this team is really depending on it. Jobs are depending on it. But defense.
Veteran offensive line, not a lot of, Anton Harrison's there, which is a good piece. There's Cam Robinson's, he's not very old. I just don't. Their offensive line's solid. I'd give it top 20,
15.
top 15, around there.
That's what I was thinking.
Their front seven is pretty solid once they get Armstead back.
They're just old. Their offensive line is just older. Like they were stars years ago.
Well,
like Brandon Sheriff was a star in Washington.
Yeah, Sheriff and Morse are the older guys. Harrison, Cleveland, Robinson, those are kind of the core. I mean, they've got a good. I don't mind it. I like their offensive line. I really do. I like their offense. I don't know, man. I don't think them and Indy are very far off on a talent scale.
Yeah, I disagree there, as usual. All right, let's finish off the South with the surprising, to me, Tennessee Titans. I looked at this roster and I was like, oh, they got some players here. Offensive line is coming together, right? Defense is probably maybe a little bit underrated, a little bit, especially that front seven for this 3-4 defense. So I thought, the way this is, and they're kind of cleaning up the back end there. So I looked at it, I was like, okay, they got some, they got some sexy names and key positions that they need to have to really start to, have a little bit of talk about the Tennessee Titans kind of being something next year. So I think as we've seen the other teams in the AFC South, most important player to this team to me is obviously Will Levis. He has to be. You don't think so? Quarterback? It ain't like what's behind him, Rudolph and Willis?
I was going Jeffrey Simmons.
Simmons is on my list.
I was going Jeffrey Simmons as their most important. I think he's just their foundational cornerstone right now. I think he is the Tennessee Titans.
You could sell me on that.
I mean, Simmons is one of the best in football. I mean, he's up there.
No, yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, he is.
He's a stud. I mean, he's a stud.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Snead's still top 10 at his position. Some would say top 5.
Yeah.
I
have Snead on there. So who you got at 1? You got Simmons at 1?
Yep, Simmons is at 1.
You got 2.
I'm going to go J.C. Latham just because I really like J.C. Latham, the football player. I just need to see him become a foundational left tackle. I think with the right coaching, right development, he has everything there to be so. I just think that Tennessee has had kind of some rough patches developing of offensive linemen over the past few years. Obviously, this is a new staff. I'm not sure on their offensive line coach situation, but I like their line. It's not looking anywhere close to what we've been seeing on the past couple lines. Cushenberry's a very underrated player. Skoronski's going to come into his own. Petit Freer on PUP. I think he's had some injury and performance issues over the years. So, Sadiq Charles is kind of whatever. Dylan Radins is all right. I don't know. They just don't. Latham's there, but he really needs to take off. You know what I mean? Like they really need him to hit and be that guy.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have any. I don't think he's a miss. I think he was one of probably the best prospects in this past draft.
I liked him. I like him a lot. So I hope he develops into that for the Titans because they need it. But Simmons and Latham being so young, that's a solid little tandem to have.
Yeah. So I have Levis 1. I had Latham at 2, and then because we already said some of these names, I have Simmons at 3. I could switch Simmons and Latham, but I think with Levis, almost going back, listening to the GM here, need that left tackle. Protect your franchise. Yeah. Need that left tackle. Protect your franchise. So that's why I went that route. But I'm not sure if Sweat or Simmons is more important to the defense.
Sweat or Simmons?
Yeah. I'm not sure yet because
Sweat's
without that nose and a 3-4, it doesn't work.
Yeah, but there's always a Vince Wilfork out there somewhere. God forbid your rookie doesn't work. So,
and you can't say that. Are you talking about a Hall of Famer? There's not always a Hall of Famer.
Excuse me, I meant a Vince Wilfork. All right, there's a Linval Joseph out there every time.
I guess so.
When Jordan Davis wasn't what they wanted him to be, what they do? They signed Linval Davis and Ndamukong Suh. Devondre Sweat's got a lot of maturing. Devondre Sweat has a lot of things he's got to get together with himself before I would consider him a foundational piece. I think he's a very talented football player. I think he has the tools to be really good. Yeah. But I just think that they could. I think that you take Simmons off that defensive line, subpar offensive lines are walking them off the ball.
Agreed. I do agree. But I'm just saying, from a player standpoint, even the X's and O's standpoint, no, you gotta have
a good nose. You gotta have a good nose. That's a big boy. But if he's getting stood up, he's not helping anybody. You know what I mean? So you go hire a guy sitting on the couch that's willing to just eat some blockers for a couple $1 million.
And I got Snead as 4.
I like Snead.
They trade or pay for him? They traded for him, right?
They traded
for him. And then they paid him, right?
I don't know if they've gotten a contract done. They might have.
They had to have. There's no way he got traded and they didn't pay him. They got money, right? They got to have cap space.
He got a 4-year, $76.4 million. Yeah, I thought he got paid. I just wanted to double check. Yeah. All right, so he got paid.
So they need that one to hit. Awuzie is not bad though.
Yeah, I'm about to say they kind of, if you look at it, they kind of just went all in on that.
Had to.
I mean, they even signed Jamal Adams just to see what he can do. I've always liked Elijah Molden. I was a big Caleb Farley fan, even though he just can't stay healthy to save himself. Former Cardinal Eagle Tay Gowan's on there. I liked Roger McCreary coming out. He's a good slot. He's an okay slot. I look at our pass rushers here as the biggest problem. Harold Landry hasn't really come into his own. He's dealt with some injuries, and then Arden Key there, coming off a good year with Jacksonville, a little bit of a revival year, but I don't know. They just don't have a whole lot going on there. I just think they're clearly
they don't have a lot of. I don't think they have.
They don't have a lot of star power, man.
I was gonna say
they don't have a lot of star power. I mean, they signed Tony Pollard, but he wasn't himself last year. I get it; he was coming off a big knee injury. You got Ty Spears. You got
but people love Spears though.
I love Spears. Spears is a stud.
Tyjae Spears.
Yeah, Tyjae Spears. He's an awesome complimentary back. It's a make or break year for Treylon Burks. They've got an all veteran receiver room, which I like for. Levis. I like Chega Conquo at tight end. But
I think their offense is solid. I think it's a solid offense.
I just think that the way that we did these is the way that this division is going to finish.
And their stat, and I mean, this offensive line has a chance to be like the left side of this offensive line. Crusenberry,
Skoronski and Latham. Yeah, I like that.
I mean? Yeah, Skoronski out of Northwestern. I remember him. He was, they weren't sure if he was going to play guard or
guard. Yeah, he was more fit for the guard because the arm.
He was more fit from the guard.
Yeah, I mean, this is all. It's all right, man. I just, I looked at. I think that we've really gone in order here of, top to bottom as Texans. They're the best example out of this division. In my opinion, the Colts are better than the Jaguars as far as total roster construction. There's going to be a lot of people arguing with me on that. We'll see how that goes. But I think Texans, Colts, Jaguars, Titans is the way this thing's going to finish. But I think that the Colts and Jaguars are like a game off, or they're in a head-to-head decider between that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I think it's just a coin flip between which one is number 2. I'm going to go with Indy.
Okay. I'm not.
I know you are. I know you are.
I'm not. My eye test is better. All right. Thank you, everybody. I see people jumping in, jumping out, jumping in, jumping out, and they're like, who the hell are these people? And I've never seen these people before on this channel. So, again, just want to let you know I'm the player. That's the GM. We are talking AFC South. I actually just got done the AFC South, but stick around. We might as well just do the NFC South and just knock it out while we're here. We'll do it live. Why not? No notes, as they say.
Off the dome, freestyle.
Off the dome, man.
Freestyle.
See what you got, man. You're talking big game, talking like you know more than the person who was on the field.
Hold on. We're about to do the NFC South.
We're about to do the NFC South right now, live. You game? Or you want me to end it now? I can hit the end button. Are you game?
No. Chat. I'm gonna tell y'all. Nate knows what I need to do right now.
What do you need to do?
Let me go hit that porcelain throne. I'll be right back.
All right.
Do we have a commercial break for this for the future? That's all I'm saying. Like, I want like the birds flying or something. Or that Dawkins speech just.
Good. I'll hold down the fort. Okay, I'll hold down the fort. We'll bring him out here. So, just want to do a quick intro. Again, my name is Moss Money. I am the owner of Crack Barrel Productions and the Money Pot podcast and betting show and channel. And this show is about me, the player who's played football and trusts these 4 eyes to know what I'm looking at. But then you run into people on the internet who think they know because they look at film and they buy all this scout stuff. They study, and they go out in the world and talk that stuff and think they know more than the player. They don't. And we're here to prove whether you on my side or his side. We're going to see who knows their stuff. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't pronounce a lot of these names. He can. He's going to beat me on that. But when we get to these X's and O's, we're gonna be on the same point. Trust me. We're gonna be on the same point. He gonna be chatting me up. Hey, Nate. Hey, yeah, good one. That's what we're gonna do. So, my guy is back. That's Ernie B. He is the GM. I am the player, and we're going to do live right now, off the top, NFC South, starting with those Dirty Birds, Atlanta Falcons.
The Dirty
Birds, Atlanta Falcons. So I think this is a really interesting one when we look at number one most important piece to this team. And the reason why I say that, because I've been recently converted of how good Bijan Robinson is.
What? Recently converted?
Because I know he was nice. Hater? I wasn't a hater. I just wasn't a hater. I just didn't see it. Let me take that back. I had to see it. Like, I just had to see it in the league. I had to see that the burst and the speed, everything was the same. Obviously, just go and do some quick highlights. He's absolute everything advertised and everything they wanted him to be. Or what, over 1,400 yards all purpose. Killer out the backfield, just a every down dog and player. But let me ask you this:
MF
we
and
know
dog, that MF and dog, like we call it, like we call it, Anthony, like I call it Anthony Richardson. I'm a stamp Bijan too as MF and dog.
So who you got? Is it him or Cousins? One.
Financially, man.
It's got to be Cousins.
The inner GM in me, I just cannot wipe my ass with the money that I just spent. I just paid this guy. I believe in him though. I like what's going on, but what my honorable mention is
for number one.
No. It's an honorable mention for number one. It's kind of like we can piece this out, but I think the most important part of this entire franchise is the dominant offensive line that they have built through the draft over the past few years. The Atlanta Falcons are one of the most underrated offensive lines in the NFL, according to regular media. They are extremely underrated. I mean, Jake Matthews should know. I mean, he's been a staple for a while in the league. Matthew Bergeron, second-round pick, 2023 out of Syracuse, stud. Drew Dahlman, fourth-round pick, 2021. Chris Lindstrom, first-round pick, 2019. Caleb McGarry, first-round pick, 2019. I'm telling you, you got a pack of corn-fed white boys ready to maul. And you know what I mean by that. I'm talking biceps that are just all bacon grease, baby. I mean, they've got a big group of hogs, man. And I just think that they need this group to stay intact in order for everything to go right. Because Kirk Cousins has dealt with unnecessary pressure.
Unnecessary pressure? Are you serious?
Come on. I mean, he had no offensive line, all right?
He needs all the pressure.
All right. Garrett Bradbury's a bust. When your center's a bust and you just force him to play.
Unnecessary pressure? Are you kidding me?
I mean, what do you think the offensive line coach would call that, or the quarterback coach would call that? That's unnecessary pressure.
It ain't no unnecessary pressure. He gets paid to win games.
And he has faced no unnecessary pressure. I'm talking about from the defensive line the past few years, man. I'm talking about getting rushed. Dude, did you watch the QB thing on Netflix? I mean, dude, there's more clips of Kirk Cousins getting his shit rocked.
I don't watch film. I watch the game. I don't watch film.
But I'm just saying, like, the dude has been getting. I mean, he has to be so happy that he's got the offensive line that he has. But Bijan can't succeed without it. Kyle Pitts can't succeed without it. Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Rondell Moore, whatever. I wanted to put that out there. The Atlanta Falcons offensive line is disrespected in average football media, but those who know they got some dogs.
All right, I'll take your word for it. So
I'm telling you,
I like it. I mean, I like it. I wouldn't put them over Bijan because I think Bijan's the most talented player on this whole roster. He's going to make everything go. Without him, this doesn't work. Even if Cousins wasn't, even with or without Cousins. That's why I was just wondering, because
with or without Cousins,
you have such a dynamic playmaker, though. Like, you know what I mean? You have such a dynamic. It's like CMC to me.
Well, all right. So the offensive coordinator is coming from LA, Zach Robinson.
Yeah.
Former, I don't know how many years he did in the NFL, probably not long, but he was at Oklahoma State. I don't know if you remember him. But
not too much.
McVaytree. So we're going to see some zone run, you know?
Yeah.
We're going to see a lot of shift, a lot of movement, a lot of motion. Who does that benefit? Your boy. Who's that also probably going to benefit? Maybe Kyle Pitts. Maybe we finally see our Kyle Pitts breakout season.
Maybe.
Because I love the boy from Philly. He's a stud. I think Art Smith just refused to use him or Bijan correctly at the end of the day. But I don't know. I'm gonna go Kirk and the offensive line. I'm gonna actually put a slash there, and I'm gonna agree with you and put Bijan 2, which is God. That's so against my everything I believe in.
Yeah, I got Bijan 1, man. I can't. And Kirk 2.
Actually, I'm gonna put it like this. I'm gonna go Grady Jarrett 2, Bijan 3.
Ooh, that's.
I can't shade Grady just yet.
Yeah, nah, I'm a Grady Jarrett fan too.
I can't shade Grady just yet, man. He's still. I mean,
even though
he's just been,
he got hurt last year, but
he's
you
been
talking about
so good, man. In his
talking
career,
about a
he's been
Falcon.
so.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you're talking about a Falcon. Yeah, he's the embodiment
Um,
of Atlanta Falcons.
really curious who your number 4 is because I've got another slash here, but my real answer, and then the other one's just because I like the player.
Let me bring up the roster real quick here. So number 4.
So you have Bijan.
Oh, Bates for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
agreeing with Bates.
Bates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bates.
Yeah, Bates for sure. I mean, he's the
Now,
best.
honorable
He's
mention
he's
AJ
the best
Terrell.
safety in the league, right? About right.
Yeah, he could be
Probably
considered.
is.
He could be considered one of the best safeties in the league. I mean, he might be the best free side. Kyle Hamilton's up there. I don't know. He's a top 5 safety in the league for sure.
For sure.
AJ
Okay.
Terrell's there, who's a top 10 outside corner in football.
Okay.
They've
I'll give
got
that.
they've got a pretty cool room of linebackers. They have an interesting team. I'm not against them on defense. They've got Jimmy Lake as the defensive coordinator now. They're running that 3-4. It's we're going to see. I'm not sure if Jimmy Lake is a Fangio 3-4 or more of like a natural Steelers Ravens 3-4 or where he would come from. I'm sure someone's going to kill me for that because I should know that name because I know his name. But other than that, man, I don't know. I like the team. I mean, I'd probably put them at I think they should win 10 games in this division.
Yeah, oh yeah, for
You know what
sure.
I mean? Like a 9 is disastrous. Like maybe Cousins gets. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I should put it at maybe 10 to 12, but 12.
But even
12 seems so high. I'd like to do the 2-game window.
Is that what their win total is? Is it 11.5?
I don't know what the Falcons are.
All right, yeah, I'll look at it in a little bit.
But I mean, I don't know. They're a
solid team.
Yeah, they're solid. They're the favorites to win the division because this division sucks. So that is what it is. They should still win the division.
And that's all I need. And then playing in Atlanta ain't easy. It's tough to play in Atlanta.
No.
So if they can host a playoff game and win in that division, then they might have a shot to maybe get into the second round.
I got a fun one for you. You wanna go ahead and wipe our what's with the Panthers, or do you want to do the Bucks?
Ooh. Let's go to Tampa.
I like that because I think that we could knock out the potentially top 2 here. New Orleans and Tampa is going to be an interesting discussion. And actually, you know what? Let's do New Orleans after this and finish with Carolina.
Okay.
Your best player on Tampa.
Whiffs. Tristan.
Wirfs. Yeah, Tristan Wirfs. Wirfs would be my best player. He's currently holding out. He's looking for a deal.
And then Winfield, I would think.
I believe Jordan Schultz of Bleacher Report reported earlier this morning that they are very far off on a deal. So this is usually just agent organization, or as formerly be called a club. So this is just agent club back and forth. Hey, you tweet this guy tweet that. You know how it goes. It's all back and forth nonsense. So Wirfs is 100% my number 1 player. I'm really curious who your number 2 is, though. Because there's a guy that I know we both really like, and I don't know if you like him as much as I do, but I just have so much respect for this player. But then there's a younger guy that I really feel like is a stud too.
I think the easy name is Winfield, but I can't take my eyes off
Vita Vea. That's my young guy, Vita Vea.
Yeah.
My older guy was Mike Evans.
Okay.
What Mike Evans has done for this team,
for this franchise.
I would agree with you too. I mean, what he's done for this franchise is unreal.
Yeah,
he's given everything to this club, man. I mean, he is. Mike Evans
is a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I agree totally. So I'd have to start with Wirfs. I'm going to go Mike Evans. Winfield, Vea, they're right there, but they're equally important to the defense. But there's a player that we're forgetting here, and he's one of my favorite inside linebackers of all time. That's Levante David. David has been, dude. He's one of the. He's been underrated his whole career, man.
So
Him
this
and Mario Davis, who we're going to get to with the Saints, have constantly been there. They've been just consistently very good. And that's all you can ask for from a linebacker in this league.
So when I look at this roster, and going through it, like one of the kind of remind me of, like, they have some Tampa Bay Buccaneers on this team who've been with the team since they started, like Evans, Godwin, Levante David has been here the whole time. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if ESPN will show you if they've drafted the player, but
no, they did. Yeah, they do.
Winfield, so you see how many drafted players are rostered as opposed to the ones that would say
kind of like I'm going off the top of my head, but to double check it, I need to click. I mean, I know Vita Vea is Vita was a Tampa. Yeah, he's always been Tampa. But like if you think about it, those four name stays, right? Those names, those numbers on those jerseys, they've been a part of this franchise, forever. Like I said, Evans and Godwin have been there in the last 8 years, with Evans going on like 10, 11. Vita
this
Vea
is what builds winning teams, and this is why Dallas has so much success, is because they draft well. The Bucs have drafted well.
But what I was going to get at, though, is that this roster is getting old too, and this roster needs the turnover isn't happening as well. Because who are the young guns on this team?
I would disagree. I think that this roster is folding over as it should. They drafted Graham Barton in the first round this year, 2024. He's their starting center. Starting right guard is Cody Mock. He was a second-round pick in 2023. Right tackle Luke Gadecki, second round 2022. Evans, first round 14. Godwin, third round 17. Right now, wide receiver 3 is a battle between Trey Palmer, was a 6th-rounder in 2023, and Jalen McMillan.
Shepard is on that team.
Yeah, but I'm more speaking on the drafted players. Shepard's on the outside looking in.
Yeah, for sure.
Very, very much so. I'm not sure if he makes this roster. He might. Cade Otton, their starting tight end, was drafted. Rashad White drafted. Bucky Irving drafted. They signed Baker, but other than that, I mean, look at their front four.
They revamped the offensive line over the last.
Yaya Diaby produced a lot last year as a 3rd-round pick. KJ Britt came on. That's why Devin White's an Eagle. Levante David was a 2nd-round pick in 2012. Joe Tryon Shoyinka has been coming up. Kalijah Cansey. I mean, this team is drafted well, man.
I'm not saying they haven't drafted well.
A really good job of building this team. I just think that they don't have a Dak Prescott with a Kellen Moore calling the offense. I mean, I would say post Brady, because they went all in there with Brady and they got that Super Bowl. Yeah. I think that they're holding on much better than most. Kind of like, you remember Seattle post Legion of Boom?
Yeah.
Like, remember how they were always like, it's like, God, they won't go away, but like, this is just how they are. I mean, their only challenge, they won it last year.
Yeah, so, no, they did, and they beat us. I knew they were going to beat us in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, we were non-competitive at that point, but I'm just saying, this is a team that's overlooked, and I just think that continuity is their best strength.
I don't think they're overlooked. I just like this. Here's a good way of saying it: the star power is starting to fade from this team.
Agreed, but they haven't had a lot of top 10 picks because they've been relevant.
But they've had top 10 players.
Wirfs like was dude. I think they got Wirfs at like pick 12 or something. And I mean, Wirfs is a stud, dude.
He's a stud. Evans was a stud in his day. And then we got to remember Evans the linebacker.
Mike Evans is still going to give you a 1,000.
Yeah. The linebacker, I don't think that's tough in today's.
Jamel Dean was a draft. He's their starting corner. They're going to give Zion McCollum. He was a 5th-round pick in 2022. I mean,
But
both their
I mean, their
safeties,
linebacker core was, were stars for years, and
and they
it's
were
like
drafted.
it's starting to
Yeah.
fade, right?
Well,
It's just
but you say that,
starting to
but then the
fade.
guy for Devin White is replaced by a fifth-round pick from 2021, KJ Britt, who has come on very strongly. And then you think they might draft another inside linebacker this cycle that takes over for David. I mean, I'm just saying this team is staying relevant, and they're staying relevant for a reason.
I think they're staying mediocrity. That's the way I
You
look
think
at it.
they're stuck in more of a purgatory kind of phase where they're
I do.
just stuck
I do.
getting middle of the pack picks?
Yeah. I no.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Middle of the pack picks because their last couple draft picks have been hits, right?
Well, no.
Um.
I'm talking about as far as in the 1 through 32.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Like none
Yeah,
of them are like
they don't get high. Like they're not
like
getting.
yeah
They
like Cansey is going to be a good player, I think. Out
And
of
he was like a late 20s.
out of
Tryon
Pittsburgh, but
Yankin was a
he
late
was under.
20s.
Yeah, he's got to learn how to play.
Their highest players have been Vea, Wirfs,
Yeah,
and
Vea's been worth it, but Vea's coming. He's on the downside, in
nah,
my opinion.
he's in his prime.
Eh.
Your downside is my prime.
I
Dude,
mean, he don't gotta do as what he used to do. I loved
well,
him
now
as a
that he has Cansey and
player.
Logan Hall there, I think that he can, he can kind of relax a little bit. But I mean, I still think I still think he's the most dominant nose tackle.
When people want
You would agree, though, right? Vita Vea is the best 0-1 in the league.
yeah, I would think so.
I mean,
He's
there's not a better people
he
mover.
might be the most athletic, bro. He is a freak.
Yeah, he is a freak athlete too. He does
He
not
is
get a lot of credit. He does not get enough credit for that. That dude can
freak.
move. Yeah,
He is he is a freak. And to me, when people think of Jordan Davis, I think that if he could be they're just completely differently built, though. That's the problem. Like Vita
Well,
Vea is,
Dexter Lawrence would be his comparison. Where if you
yeah,
wanted Davis to be perfect, he would have to be Dexter Lawrence, and that's just
but even that, like I think Davis is built upper body. Those boys, they got legs, and like
yeah,
they got
they
big
do.
backsides. Like I mean, like they're
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
they're built from the lower half. Davis is built top heavy. You know what I
Very
mean?
much so. Yeah, very much so. Which is
just
which is
just a different build for that player for that position.
yeah. But if you can end up doing some 4-eye stuff, it ends up helping you. You know what I mean?
He pulled out the 4-eye stuff, man. You gotta just stop watching that film, man. Leave that film alone, bro. 4-eye. Nobody plays that shit.
Yeah, they do.
I know,
Fangio,
man.
baby. Fangio, baby.
Oh my god. So I think we got our 4 though. I think we did get our 4 on this one. So we
Yeah, I
got
mean, I would. There's not a solidified 4. Let me do my usual shout out, old birds. Sua Opeta just signed with the Bucks this year to be. I think he's gonna be one of their top backup guards. Could compete for a job. I don't see anybody else here. So yeah, but I mean, old Opeta out there. He was a developed UDFA, another graduate of Stoutland University.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. All right, I don't know the song. Was those old marching saints? Can't sing it.
Nolans. It's Nolans.
New Orleans.
No, it's Nolans.
New Orleans. Ah, shit.
Yeah.
All right. So the New Orleans Saints, very, very interesting bunch that seems that they can't get it together. I'm looking at this roster right now, and in my head, the number one guy has got to be the longest tenure guy, most important to this team, and still a dog. Love this player, Cam Jordan. He is an absolute beast. He is New Orleans.
Yeah, I got to show my respect here, even as a GM and a guy that was drafted in the first round of 2011. So
Still getting it. Still getting
it. I got a ton of respect. I mean, I really do. I got a ton of respect for Cam Jordan.
He's probably at the end. Hall of Famer for sure.
I've heard some Hall of Famer for sure. He's a legacy player too. So Hall of Famer.
Yeah, like I'm looking at his numbers. He's got almost 120 sacks.
I got a little thing on Cam Jordan. I've heard, and again, this is completely, totally just speculation and just people saying, what could we do? But
last season.
there's a chance that old Cam Jordan could be moved at the deadline to a contender.
Really?
There's a
That
chance.
would be a terrible idea.
Well, he wants
Wants what, a ring?
yeah,
Mm.
and he don't think they gonna do it.
No, come on over. I would love him over here.
I'm just saying. Look, you know how
love him over
you
here.
know how
Oh my
the Twitter,
God.
you know how the Twitter people are. This was a few months ago. This was just hypothetical trades at the deadline that the Eagles could make. I believe it was Jimmy Kempski that actually came up with the idea. Who's a very, very credited beat writer, one of my favorite. But yeah, I don't see a reason why they would turn down.
You know what? He's a pass rusher. He's always been a pass rusher. Obviously he fell off.
Tell him and BG split them snaps, baby. Go have fun.
Yeah, but I was about to say, like, I just wonder how he would be standing up.
No, he wouldn't have to stand up. No, he would just play. He would play like 3 wide 9 4.
Yeah, he would have to be that wide 9. I wouldn't put him inside.
And even if it was a standing position, I mean, you could still. I don't know. I'm just saying. I've heard
he's such a versatile pass rusher though. So he's like would be if BG was a Hall of Famer, he would be Cam Jordan. Like if BG made the Hall of
think they have I think the problem is they're
last
generation's pass rushers, so they're built like they should be. And the problem is they're tweeners now. So it's like we see them and it's like, well, I guess technically he's like, 280. Can't just play inside. I mean,
what I'm thinking from the player side, like a player like this who's been in the league for well over 10 years in a decade, he's seen them all, he's done it all. So there's no way he doesn't have a skill set to rush standing up.
Let me just say, if he says I don't want to play in Vic Fangio's defense, then he ain't going. It ain't nothing's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
That's plain and simple.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I was kind of like thinking of. But I'm looking at his numbers now, and 200 games, he ain't never rushed a passer standing up. Like that would be silly to say that. So
no. And again, remember, you would have to use him in a different way. It would just be
right. Yeah, he would be pure Chris Long. Absolutely,
like exactly. That's what do they call it? A sack merchant. Sack merchant, just a sack merchant. That's all we need.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, I like it.
We're just throwing that out there. That's just
that'd be real interesting. So who do you have at number 2? Because there's a lot of people who could fit number 2. A lot of name stays here too.
This player is this is a little personal for me, but I am a big Marshawn Lattimore fan. I think he's
you love your corners, man.
I think he's MF dog. Dude, I grew up an Eagles fan, man. You know what it's like. What are you talking about, man? I mean, I had, as a child, I watched these corners and, Lito and Sheldon just go out there and lock people down. And then I had the hope for Nnamdi. And it's like the break that was. I mean, and then, to get Slay, it was like, this is a miracle. And then the year we have Slay and Bradbury, we don't even win the Super Bowl.
It wasn't even Nnamdi's fault, man. I can't blame Nnamdi.
It was just
a terrible scheme, everything.
But Marshawn, I think Marshawn's still one of the best in the league. Marshawn, I will say this. If I can make a comparison, I don't know how you feel about this, but to me, Marshawn Lattimore is the Amari Cooper of cornerbacks in the NFL today. If Marshawn Lattimore wants to go be Marshawn Lattimore, he will go be Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah, I can't disagree.
But there's some plays where you can just see he may or may not care that much.
I can't disagree with that with Lattimore at number 2.
I mean, you agree on the talent of the player, right? Like, I mean, he's
of course, yeah, he's a top 5.
But would you agree, like with Cooper though? He's like Amari. He's like the DB of Amari. He's the corner of Amari Cooper's. Like, there's a game where I'm like, yo, I know you can go out there and lock this man up, but what happened? Like, why didn't you? I wasn't feeling like it. Which he would never say it, but it's like that's what it seems.
Yeah, he does have some lapses at time. Like he'll lock somebody down, but then he'll get cooked too at the same time.
But it looks like on the play that he gets cooked, it looks like he's not trying. And it's like, dude, if you just come on.
Yeah, but they need him. And I mean, I think that's part of this. They do need, and I'm looking.
He's also in contract. He wants to get paid again. So
yeah, well, you gotta go show up. I'm looking at this roster, man. You know, they got actually some, you know, Kool-Aid is there.
Well,
Bryce
their defense is much better than their offense.
uh Brian
Their
Breesy.
defense has some names. I mean,
Yeah.
I love the Pete Werner, Demario Davis, Willie Gay
Yeah.
stack at
I love
linebacker.
Davis.
I
Davis is a
love
hell of a middle linebacker.
I love their DBs. Their outside corners, Marshawn Lattimore, Paulson at Debo. He's always been one of my guys. I love Alante Taylor. Um, they got Will Harris. They drafted Kool-Aid in the second. Um, Jordan Howden's been solid. We'll see what he can do. They picked up Jonathan Abram. Worst case, he's an elite special teamer. I mean, now they did lose to no, excuse me, I'm going to butcher this one. I think it's Pasagnan. And they lost him to, I believe it was a torn Achilles. They did sign Chase Young. So give a little relief there to Granderson and Jordan on the pass rush. Peyton Turner coming in there was a 2021 first round pick. I like the defense, man. I really do. The offense, I don't know.
Yeah.
This wide receiver room outside of Chris Olave is a little questionable.
Yeah, a lot of people like Shaheed, but
he's a gadget player at best.
Yeah, I was about to say he's a one-trick kind of pony type guy.
A.T. Perry's a player that I like from Wake Forest here in North Carolina, but he's a more of a.
And you don't have a big arm quarterback either with Carr who can drop the ball.
No, Carr's declining. I don't care what anybody says. Carr's declining.
He's not a fit.
I don't
think he's a locker room fit. I think we saw some Romans.
I don't know if it's about locker room fit. I just think did you see the video with him, his recent interview where he was basically saying like he wanted to play for Saleh and then walked out of the building. I don't know if you saw that, but he walked out of the building and then was like, well, I still have to go talk to like 5 other teams, blah, 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 blah. The Rodgers trade was kind of in the air at the time, you know, whatever, but
yeah. I mean, well, they're gonna take Rodgers over you any day of the week, bro. So just get over it.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of
this is what it is.
Nathan Peterman still has a job here in New Orleans, so
yeah, yeah. So who do you have at 3? I agree with Jordan and Lattimore so far. Who would be your?
I'm gonna go Olave here.
I agree.
He's that good. I mean, he really is that good. So I'd go Olave. And my number 4 is going to be
Fuago? Talisi?
No, it's Fuanga.
No, there's no L in there.
That's it's not Fuanga. No, it's not. Well, he's my honorable mention. I'm going to go Demario Davis because I just talked about how underrated Levante David is, but I would throw Demario Davis right there with him. I don't know it off the top of my head, but Demario Davis's games played in a row streak is unreal. Like the dude just plays through it all. So I have to respect that old school football linebacker. I got to put my boy Kamara in there, and I'm going to show respect to Fuanga. But Kamara's still that dude. I don't care. He's a stud. He's a stud, bro. He's a stud.
Yeah, I think I agree with all this whole list here.
I just think the Saints are the Saints, and they've been the Saints for a while. So it's like, okay, like you guys are good job. You don't have Drew Brees. You still don't have Drew Brees or Sean Payton.
Yeah, or Payton. Yeah, it is what it is. I agree with that list. I don't have anything to add to that.
I just think that. So how do we have it ranked right now? Would you agree Tampa over New Orleans just based on kind of continuity and coaching?
Yeah, I would agree Tampa over New Orleans for sure.
And again, that's just off. It's just off and we're only saying this. It's not because that Tampa necessarily has more star power. It's just because they've had the same roster together for longer, the same coaching, success in that coaching. I mean, you can't deny wins.
But the Saints' defense is
on paper. I really like their defense.
Yeah, that's kind of legit, especially in New Orleans too, with that crowd. It's tough. Yeah. It's tough to play.
Yeah. They're still going to be feisty. I mean, I feel like they're kind of in the purgatory we were talking about earlier. You know what I mean? Like they're just kind of stuck. Like they're not good enough to lose, or they're not bad enough to lose enough games. They're not good enough to win enough games.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of saying that for sure. All right, let's go to the bottom of the barrel.
Personal, baby. This one's personal. Not a Carolina Panthers fan of any sort, but I am a born and raised North Carolinian, honorary Philadelphian, or as some would call us, Negadelphians. Because have you heard that term before? I hear that a lot in the media.
Never heard that term before.
Yeah, because apparently everybody we just hate, like we just never show love. So we just
never heard that before.
Oh,
that's a new one to me.
And it could be loosely misinterpreted, but if you understand
what it sounds
like. Negative Philadelphians.
Negative Philadelphians.
Yes.
Like what? Are y'all?
Yeah. Don't. Trust me. First time I heard it, I was like, oh, but no. Negadelphians. Because how whatever. Carolina, we don't have the same kind of love down here for this team. Everybody just thinks they suck. They kind of do suck.
Yeah, I'm saying what they do.
I mean, it was cool being young and then being kind of like relevant as a expansion team. Like that was kind of cool. But like,
yeah,
they've always just kind of been that flash in the pan. I mean,
I can't put the city on his back.
He did. I never liked him. I was by that time I was diehard, through and through Philadelphia, damn near everything. So at that point, I hated Cam, and he had that one comeback on us. And I was at a bar with like 9 Panthers fans wearing a Wentz jersey. I don't know if you remember I think it might have been 19. And he came back on us. We were up at the half by like 17 points, and Newton just let him back and beat us. And I lost it, man. It was awful. But yeah, the Panthers. I'm really curious to see who is your number one most important player.
Oh, come on, man. What kind of question is that? Who else would it be?
It's got to be that boy Bryce.
Like, of course. He just got paid. Another person who just got paid.
And Bryce Young?
Oh no, it was Tua. Tua got paid.
Yeah, Tua got paid. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Same school, same
everything. Damn near.
Look, yeah.
Short stature, small stature.
Bryce Young just looks like a middle schooler. I don't know if you saw the picture they posted.
Yeah,
I did see the video. He was wearing that little shirt, holding his backpack. I was like,
hands hitting shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, absolutely, Bryce. I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
I just think he's coming off a really, really, really bad year. He's got a lot to prove.
They were a bad team last year, so
yeah, bad
coaching, though.
Bad this, bad that. He's got some weapons here. Thielen's another guy that I'm kind of eyeing as a potential trade candidate for the Eagles. But just tossing that out there. Legette's got to prove himself. Mingo, Terrace Marshall, they've got a bunch of outside big receivers that need to prove themselves. Deontay Johnson, I thought, was a really good addition. I think he's going to see some serious volume.
If Legette could spark, he's a bigger body, obviously, more physical type receiver. But, there was some talks about him, being one of the better receivers. But I think his route tree was still lacking.
He just doesn't run routes like, great at the catch point. Strong.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's big.
I mean, with Thielen though, he got a pro.
He can move.
He can move. Yeah.
I mean, he can move, but
he's got a pro to teach him though with Thielen.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think
receiver core doesn't look terrible.
It's a log jam though, because if you think about it from roster construction, your 6th wide receiver needs to be a special teamer. That's why a lot of teams keep 5. They just don't have a guy, or maybe that guy plays another position,
Yeah.
So when I look at Johnson, Legette, Thielen, Marshall, Mingo, Amir Smith-Marset. Amir Smith-Marset has special teams capabilities as far as return stuff. But Legette, Marshall, and Mingo are the same player. They are outside guys that I'm not really sure how well they'd line up in the slot. Your movable receivers, Deontay Johnson. I'm not sure how much X Adam Thielen is trying to play these days.
Marshall was from LSU, right?
Marshall was the one wide receiver out of that group that didn't pan out. Jamar, Justin, and
yeah, I was about to say, I thought Terrace. I remember that name.
Yeah. Terrace never worked out. Maybe another, change of scenery can help him, but hasn't worked out. They just spent big on their offensive line this offseason. They signed Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt,
Yeah, they
interior
needed
offensive
to.
linemen.
I think
So
I think Young got sacked. I think he was up there in top 5 of most sacks last year, if I'm not mistaken.
I got a question. How do you feel about Derek Brown? DT,
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Auburn.
I think he's a solid player. I think
He's a run stuffer. That's the thing. His stats are not going to look good. But his tape is it's really.
he's
I
a,
mean,
he's a run stuffer, but he has a nose for the ball.
he's a mauler. You know what I mean? He's a good.
Yeah, like
he's a good mauler. Get in there, move around. I mean, he's just got. He's aggressive with finesse. I don't know. I'm a big Derek Brown fan. I actually thought that keeping Derek Brown in the state of the franchise was smarter than keeping Brian Burns. And at the cost they got Brown compared to Burns, I would totally agree.
yeah, I mean when you have 60 solo tackles as a defensive lineman, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
So that tells, like, when I see that type of numbers, and not even he's improved every year. Like, not a lot of people get past him. He just has a nose for the ball.
I think that's
numbers like that, and that's because that's a lot. Like from a interior defensive lineman.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, Derek Brown is like
that's a lot.
Yeah, and hopefully, and the Shy Tuttle Ashawn Robinson combo is just nothing. I mean, this is to be honest with the people here, this might be the worst roster in all of football. I mean, hands down. I think the Patriots could compete, although I like some of the Patriots guys. They just lost Christian Barmore to blood clots. Let's hope everything goes well there.
Yeah.
But I see dart throws at pass rusher here. I see a lack of cornerback talent.
Yeah, they have no pass rush whatsoever.
If J.C. Horn was one of my, not seeing this kid pan out and just dealing with these injuries kills me, because he was one of the prospects that I really thought was going to just flip the switch and turn into an elite corner early on. I like their. I don't know. This could be a team. This could be a team, guys, that Howie's calling. He's saying, "Hey, what's up with the conditional 7th? You guys want James Bradbury? You want him back? I mean, he's from North Carolina.
You're gonna lose that bet, bro. Bradbury's gonna be on the team, man. He's gonna be on the roster.
We'll see. I got that 100 ready for you. I got it stashed away just in case.
I know. I
tried
to tell you.
I know.
I just tell you.
Let's just say if the Panthers or the Cardinals or somebody just trades us.
Only way they get Bradbury if there was a major injury. So only way Bradbury goes. If not, he's just too valuable. You can put him anywhere on the field, and he's a vet. He knows how to play. And not even that, he's learning how to play safety. Maybe he can do that transition. He's not a hitter to me.
No, he's not physical enough.
He's not a physical guy. Like you could think like it's a bad comparison, but I'm looking at the body types, and I'm talking about Woodson, right? Kind of a little bit on the leaner side, but he's not. I'm talking body type, 6'2".
Much more physical player though. He was much more.
Yeah, exactly. He knew how to use his body, but he was able to transition to a safety.
Well, you look at the size of Bradbury and look at the size of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. If Bradbury played with the physicality of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, he'd be a stud.
Yeah, but I think Johnson's more put together. I think Bradbury's a little more slender. He's a slender.
No, I'm just saying if he played with the physicality, Bradbury's not small, man.
No, he's not. He's 6. You want to say 6'2", maybe? I want to say 2 something.
Probably Bradbury's he's up there, man. I mean, he's got a.
6'2",
he's not
6'3",
a small.
maybe 210.
No, he's not a small cat.
That's a big corner. He's got to be. He may be close to 2.
He's 6'1", 210.
Okay, I was close.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's a big boy. That's why. And Gardner Johnson's small, bro. I mean, I'm just saying.
I don't think Gardner's 6, right? Maybe 6.
No, Gardner Johnson's
5'10",
5'11", 210. So he's got 2 inches off. You know what I mean?
He's 5'12".
Yeah, he's Gardner Johnson's a different. That's a different dude.
Yeah, he's different.
That's a different cat.
They play completely different.
They do. What I'm just saying is, and Gardner Johnson is an extreme example of what I'm trying to say. But
Yeah.
if Bradbury didn't show effort to be physical last year on tape, so a player like Chauncey Gardner Johnson, who even Avonte Maddox is a lot like this, is just so aggressive that it ends up hurting their bodies. Like if Bradbury played with half of that physicality, he could transition to shape. He could transition to safety. He will not make that happen. Not
Jenkins was physical at times.
Jenkins was a cerebral player.
He was a very intelligent player, and he was physical when he needed to be.
His football IQ was so beyond that of Jenkins. Should be considered there with. I think Kuechly could maybe be a fetch because he might be one of the best pre-snap defensive readers of all time. I mean, Kuechly just calling out teams' plays is unreal. But Jenkins is up there. You know what I mean? Like Jenkins.
Yeah, but if Bradbury could play similar to Jenkins, I think he'll be okay.
Nah.
I think he'll be okay.
I think Bradbury lost his legs last year, and that's the cliff ball.
Jenkins ain't got no wheels.
That's why he moved to corner like year 4, year 3, or you moved to safety like year 3 or something.
But I'm just saying, like it's not like he had wheels, but he knew where to be. He was always in the right spot.
I gotta send you.
And the one thing about Jenkins, he was tough as shit. He was tough.
I gotta send you some of that. I was waiting, but I was gonna wait till after he didn't make the team. But I'm gonna have to send you some of those Bradbury goofs from last year. They're pretty funny.
Fair enough. Did we even get the 3 on Carolina?
I mean, Carolina's got Huff. Oh, no, excuse me, not Huff. Hunt. You could throw in there the guy that just paid. Ike Ekwonu out of state as a tackle. I thought was going to be.
Was he a Jet at one point?
No, he was drafted.
No, he was drafted
overall or whatever. He should. I thought it would be better if he moved to guard. I thought he'd be an elite guard, but they chose to keep him out of tackle. I mean, you could. I don't know, man. It's young. Horn you could throw in there maybe. I would say the most important are Bryce Young, Derek Brown, Deontay Johnson, and I'll shout out Taylor Moton, veteran right tackle, second-round pick of 2017, who has been an offensive line staple for the Panthers since then.
Yeah, I have no idea about this roster. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I told you, it might be the worst. It might be the worst in all of football.
I would have struggled even if I had some time to look at. I mean, I see some names here. Obviously, Clowney, Horn. I know who Xavier Woods is. Sean Robinson. I have no idea of any of these offensive linemen. I know Trimble was somewhat okay. They did draft Sanders.
He hasn't done anything.
Yeah, they did draft Sanders out of Texas. Oh no, you know what I'm talking about? I thought it was Ian Thomas.
No, Ian Thomas stinks too. They drafted. He stinks. He's been paid for a few years. Jonathan Brooks, the running back they got from Texas. They still have Boobie Sanders, Miles Sanders from the Eagles. He's a lock to make the roster this year.
He has to be.
Because his dead cap hits almost $11 million. So contractually, he will be on the team. He's
not going to be around long, though.
No, next he'll walk in free agency.
Yeah.
They'll roster Chuba, Brooks, Sanders, and Blackshear. Penny's not making the team. I don't care what anybody says. Boone's not making the team here, and Jaden Sheridan are not making the team.
There's a lot of ex-Eagles on this team. Well, I guess just in the running back room.
You got Penny's appearance. You got Miles Sanders. I thought they had an offensive lineman. I could have sworn they signed somebody.
I'm trying to think. Nick Scott, right? Nick Scott was an Eagle?
No,
I'm thinking about was it Josiah Scott? I'm thinking
Josiah Scott. You're thinking Josiah Scott.
Never mind.
Yeah, they got nobody, man. Roster stinks.
Yeah, it stinks. It sucks.
It's sad.
It's sad. All right, I like it. NFC South, AFC South completed. We are done all our rankings of divisions for the upcoming 2024 to 2025 NFL season. So what's next here for Bird's Eye View? Right now, we know camps are open. Going on right now. Shit. Preseason game has got to be coming out, right? In a week? Is it next week? The first preseason game? First week of August?
I think the Panthers played this week, and I heard somebody talking about the Eagles game's coming up soon.
The Hall of Fame game is always the first preseason game, right?
Yeah, the Hall of Fame game will be the first preseason. I think that might be this week.
Yeah, I feel like it's coming up.
Yeah, we got training camp talk, man. We got training camp talk. We can I can flood you with all the names you don't care about on the Eagles.
Yeah. Don't bore me to death.
Man, go watch some tape on Sean Stevens. Come on, man. You gotta watch Sean Stevens.
Man,
You gotta
watch your nonsense.
You gotta watch Julian Aquara.
I'm ready for football. I'm ready for football to start, man. Yeah, no, it's Thursday. Yeah, Houston and Chicago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Football is here, and I love every minute of it. So we will continue to break down football, like the show was called, Bird's Eye View. You would think it might be a full-fledged Eagles show, but it is not. It is full-fledged football, NFL. Obviously, we have affiliation for our Philadelphia Eagles, so we will always talk birds on this show. But we want to make sure that we're looking at all teams and all NFL notes and quick hits, takes, all that good stuff. And we'll be talking some shit against each other. You know, I'm the player. That's the GM. This is Bird's Eye View, baby. We will see you guys next Monday live, 8:30. Come join the conversation. It's going to be a good one. We're out of here.